Hello, welcome back to Bald and Board Games. I'm Bald, and I'm going to unbox Scales of Fate by Ivy Studios. This just came in. We have the smaller version of this, the Pillars of Fate, which is still just a head-to-head game, but the Pillars of Fate is specifically a card game. This here, as you'll see, will come down to the table here, has a whole board set up for you, a bunch of different pieces here. You have cards, you have these control servants, and then you have, I assume, objectives that you're trying to create over the ages here, or accomplish, I mean. But this is so very interesting. This is very different than many, many board games. Then we also have, of course, the metal upgrade here, which we'll get into as well. But yeah, very excited to dive into this two-player deduction game. It's something that you really don't see done, or at least done well. And from what I hear, this is done very, very well. Pillars of Fate isn't quite a deduction game. It's more of just a regular kind of card game where you can try to deduce what cards the person may potentially have, but there's no real deduction in the pushing or pulling of, like this, I think you have gods you're trying to curry favor with. And so you probably know your two gods that you're trying to curry favor with. And I assume that the others are in play in some way, and you don't know which two the other player has specifically. But we will see when we get to the rulebook rundown. But so, we have, for this unboxing, the Scales of Fate, the main game here, which we'll get into. We have the metal upgrade pieces here as well. The Brink promo, which we'll probably end up doing first. We have a little pin here. They do these pins often with their game, so this is really cool. Get that pin. Got some sleeves for some cards, and extra journals. These here. So I don't know if these are for note taking or if these are very game specific. So we'll find out here in a moment. So let's dive into the Brink portion here first. And I did pre-open it, that way I wasn't struggling on camera with it. So we have another tile, and it looks like a setup card to go along with it. So section 99, very cool looking card. There you go. You can kind of get the holographic nature there. I have an anti-glare cap on my camera lens, so sometimes it's hard to pick up that shimmer. So it looks like we got it though for you. Nice. So this card here, let's see. Section 99. The Utopian Alliance has imposed punishing tariffs on every starship upgrade, seizing precious resources from each retrofit. Wow. How about we try that again? Retrofit. My lord. Daring captains can negotiate a new deal with the UA, but risk negotiating standing. My god, let's try again. But risk negative standing. Tensions rise, and every upgrade in our solar system on the brink of war. Wow. Something happens that's weird when reading out loud to a camera, to people who aren't there right now, but it's you later on. Words become other words. We were reading, doing the rulebook rundown for Brett Walda, and it says anti-clockwise. My mind auto-corrected to counterclockwise. It was really weird. Setup. So you place section 99 hex on the topmost hex space on the board. In a 2 to 3 player game, place one of each of the resources on the hex. 4 to 5 player game, do not place any resources on the hex. Interesting. And then gameplay, anytime a player uses the upgrade action, they must place one of the used resources on the section 99 hex. When a player places a ship that touches the section 99, they immediately gain all those resources on the hex and lose 5 prestige. This loss of prestige may result in a negative score. If you're playing with 2 to 3 players, place one of each resource on section 99 hex after the player collects the hex. So there's always those 4 on there in a 2 to 3 player game. And then cargo attachments have no effect on section 99. So you're getting things, but then having to pay prestige for it. This is definitely a tongue-in-cheek towards all the malarkey that has gone on with the tariff situation here in the U.S. I love it. A very creative way to make a statement. And it adds gameplay value. So fun. Can't wait to get back into Brink with that. All right, I'm going to put that back into its little sleeve here for now until I put it in the box. And they have a nice pin. We'll go over the pin here real quick. It pins. It has 2 pins on the back. Very nice. It's the fate symbol there. Cool. I like it. We have one for 10. Just slowly collecting these. It's a very smart idea to do these pins. And to just send them if they back the game. People love putting pins on their lanyards when they go to any kind of gaming convention. Got the puppies down here with me. All right, let's look at... Actually, I'm not going to open these extra journals. We may not need those. We'll see journals that are in the box. If there aren't any journals in the box, then we'll open these so you can see what those are. I don't need to open the sleeves. You're good with that. Let's wait to do the metal figures until the real ones are also. So that means we have to get into the main box here. Just cut open that. Boom. Scales of Fate. So this is a 2-player version of their other game, Veiled Fate, which is in the same universe as this. It has the same scenario like the gods. You don't know where you're trying to curry the favor. You're trying to deduce things. I've not played Veiled Fate. I did miss the boat on that one. Might double back at some point, but when this was coming, I was like, all right, let's jump on it. Okay. Anything inside the box? Nope. Here we go. So first up, typical rulebook, small rulebook. I like it. Looks like it'll be fairly quick to go through. So for the rulebook rundown, we'll go through this in depth for you, of course. Very cool. So you have to tune into that for this. That would be the board. We'll hold off on looking at this entirely in a second, but I already like the way it looks. Ooh, this is fun. Cards. Nice. So the Pillars of Fate deck looks like it has some additional cards you can add to it. That is one of those. Very fun. I like it. And then these are for specifically this game, The Forgotten. So open that in a moment. These are really cool looking. Those will be some of the gods. And more gods. Cool. We'll look at all those in a moment. Anything down here? Do not think so. Doesn't really open? Nope, that's to help you get it out. Just take that. Nope, down there. Nope. Okay. Now, have some tokens here, which have the different, these symbols on them. Get rid of the gel pack. Cool. There's those journals we'll look at in a moment. No idea what to call these, but they're really cool looking. Nice. Different values on the bottom, 2, 3, okay. The wooden pieces, so we'd have the metal upgrades for the individuals here. More of those. Some pencils, I assume, for the journal, so maybe that is actually part of the game. It's not just a way to take notes. It's bags. Some more wood. And the bottom, we have Hadrian's servants. All right, let's move this out of the way. And we got the bags here. So clearly something will be going into these bags. That'll be pulled out either at random or in secret. Cool. Let's go back to these tokens that we have here right next to us. So you can see these better. Don't roll away. So these must align to the different gods. I believe all the gods have specific colors and symbols associated. So I assume you're going to be putting this in specific spots on the board, which will influence what objective or goal they want or favor. I have no idea. I haven't played Veiled Fate either, so I don't really know how that works exactly. And Pillars of Fate doesn't really, you're not really catering to any kind of gods or trying to curry favors with them or anything. You're just trying to get points for more points for each of the sections. If you have not watched that, we have a whole tournament where we played multiple games of that in 1 month. So we went through, I think, 4 total games. I got destroyed because board can card count, and he definitely did so. Came close a couple times, but just was not my thing. All right. So 2 different journals here. Okay. Let's see. All right. So there's definitely some stuff to mark off. So you can see here, on your turn, endgame scoring. I like that. Symbology. So this is the player aid as well as this journal. So we have the journal. We'll end up doing this during the game anyway, so that's okay. And they are the same, as you can see. Okay, so here, Penthea, Agamar, Klar, Boni, Sagria. I'm just trying these names, I know. Numari, Naka, Belen, and Isabel. Great. And I don't know what you'd be checking off on them. Demi position, guess, god powers, total. Interesting. And what they did, which is very smart, it doesn't have this on this side here, but you can use both sides. So the extra journals probably aren't even needed. That was really smart. So now on this side too, it's the same setup, but they just have it so that way you can easily go both ways. And you can tear these off if you so choose. Cool. Did not know about the journals. That's very interesting. All right. Get that trash there. We'll save the cards for last. We'll save whatever this Hadrian Servants is as well. Well, not last, but before the deck. Then some just fun pencils here. Won't last long. But it's nice that they gave you pencils to use in the game with little symbols on them there. Very cool. I'm going to leave those in the bag because I don't want those to get on anything. Okay, let's look at these chunky pieces. Oh, these are so fun. Not that. That's jail. Very tactile, very chunky. I really like the idea of, like, if you're going to do some wooden pieces, give me some 2-year-old, like, circle piece that goes in the circle hole style wooden chunks. These are really nice. What are these? So, no idea what those symbols mean. Some sort of eye. I don't know which way. It probably goes this way, because that would be the top of the lid. Some yin-yang with spike. Creepy. The scorpion, the feather. So this was minus, that was plus, and Pillars of Fate. These hands. So obviously these aren't secretive because they're color-coded. The only ones that could be secretive would be these because they're black entirely. And those are all saying -1 on the back. This, I don't know. That's like a first player marker or something. No? Cool. For now, I'm going to put those back in this bag until I figure out if I'm going to have them just in the box. Which I might. I might just put them in the box. They have a big well for them. And these aren't tiny, so I don't mind them just being kind of in the well of stuff. Right, let's go both of these. Gel pack. Whee! Another gel pack. Okay. So these are color-coded as well. But, okay. So it looks like we might have a situation where one player has their set, the other player has their set, right? And so it's the same color all the way around, but the bottoms are different, okay? So that means if this was down here and this was down here, you wouldn't necessarily know, the other person wouldn't necessarily know which is a plus and which is a minus. I don't know what the triangle means. The triangle might be a giveaway, honestly. No? Yeah, no idea what the triangle means. Because there's only one of those with the triangle on them, besides these over here. Interesting. Wonder if that was done purposeful or by accident. No idea. But what's nice is, so I was saying, is on one side is black, on the other side is this white color. So I assume these are for the different players in some way. And then you have these red ones where same sort of thing. So the red ones you probably will know it's either going to be a 3 or it'll be a 2 with the sickle, and you don't know which is going to be which. So if this player put down this one or this one, you don't know which one is the leaf and which one is, or the feather and which one is the sickle. Or the omega sign. I don't know. Cool. Just keep all those together. What? Those will probably end up going into the individual bags that we have, but I'll wait to do that until we get to the rulebook rundown, where it tells me to do that. Those back in. Those are the really chunky chunks. All right, let's look at our, I assume these are the gods. Nice chunk. So you definitely don't need the metal upgrade. Like, these are super nice. Like, this regular version of this is already very deluxe. These are cool. So the metal upgrade's not needed per se, but why not? I wish I'd gotten the metal upgrade for Scythe. I didn't back Scythe in any kind of way. I got it after the fact. I may at some point still go and get the metal mechs, but I'm sure they're very expensive. And again, they're not really needed. So here, these are really cool. These are all the gods. I love the graphical silhouette. It's like the early stage of concept art design, where you're just doing a bunch of silhouette designs in just black over and over again, looking for that figure, like experimenting. Okay, what's the pose? What's the different aspects of it? What's the different tones going to be if you're using white with black? And that's what this reminds me of. There was a book that how they went over it. I'm an illustrator as well, and so I really appreciate this stuff. Cool. All right. Let's get those put away, and let's look at the cards. Boop. Time for avocado. All right, let's see. So we'll still save this for last. Well, not last, before the board. So we have this and that. Let's do this one last, and we'll save to see what that Pillars of Fate card is for the end. So let's start in right here. And we do have sleeves for these. I'm not going to make you watch me sleeve all these on camera. You're welcome. I like the back has, see it? That shimmer to it again. Just a very fun quality in these cards. The front is a very simple graphical. These are definitely all the gods, for sure. All the colors match. Characters match their silhouettes, as in like the character style. Very fun. Very easy to tell apart from the others. That was terrible. Let's try that again. Sure. We'll go with that. And it is no shimmer on these. Still very nice cards. Very solid deluxe feeling cards. A very fine linen finish to them. There it is. Look at that. Nice gold shimmer on the edges. There we go. Very cool. These are also the gods. Interesting. It looks like there are 2 of each in here, so I assume one player gets one set and another player gets the other set. Cool. See if I can do this better this time. Nope. Tail doesn't quite grab him. Worth a shot. Hope you enjoy watching me struggle. I know board does. Goes up there. And let's check this out. Alright, let's see if I can get into this. There it is, little thing. There we go. This always reminds me of cigarettes. The way that thing opens. I do not smoke. It's gross. But I always laugh at that. Alright, let's save those for last. So these are the different ages in the game. Looks like 1, 2, 3. Cool. So, age 1, draw 2 demis from your opponent's unused deck to view privately. Interesting. Don't know what the orientation of all this means quite yet on there. All that. And down here, No idea. So it looks like there's either objectives to get to, maybe, or when this happens, that ends the age. I really don't know. There's a KS here at the top. It says Age 1 KS. I assume these are Kickstarter exclusive cards for the ages that are only coming with the Kickstarter version of this game. We have some player references, which is good. On your turn, so saying that it's in the journal. Cool. So maybe the journal is an optional thing. These are very handy references. Ooh. These ones are slightly different. All right, so these have like a silver shimmer on the back. These have a gold shimmer on the back. And they are the gods once again. Interesting. Huh. I wonder. No idea. I am kind of baffled. Oh yeah, so here we go. So here's the ages again. And these ones do not say KS. So these are the regular ones that would come in the game for you if you did not back this on Kickstarter. So the different layouts. Again, I have no idea what the layouts mean. Maybe that's the initial setup of the situation. I don't know. All right, let's see what the Pillars of Fate cards are. So these are the special cards in Pillars of Fate, if you don't know. So you get dealt out these special cards, and each turn you have to use one of these that you have. So you end up with 3 of them, I believe, because there's three ages as well. So what are these 3? These are new. Ooh. Senka, so swap the locations of 2 of your opponent's face-down cards. Cool. Worth 4 and 2 of the Scorpion Tails. And I have no idea what that I means. I completely forget. I think, maybe they all have them. This has to be played face-up, I think is what it means. Once all lanes are revealed, choose whether the power of this card is 1 or 7. Damn, that's crazy. That you get to choose after the fact this is 1 or 7, that could turn the tides. That could help me win this game. Being Pillars of Fate. And the Servants. Once all the lanes are revealed, you may move this card to any other lane. Again, also, that could really change the tides. If you put this down, if it's your last card, that goes down, and you have more points to the person by 1 or 2, and you're the tiebreaker, you just sort of like, nah, move that to another lane, win that lane, lose this lane. Crazy. Cool. So those will keep separate so they can get put into the proper box. All these I will put together for now as one, because I am going to sleeve these once I get done this. And then they have a nice spot right here to put them so they'll be away from all the stuff that would potentially damage them, which I really like. I really appreciate that, thinking that out. But with it being said, this size box, I don't know if that's needed for all of the stuff, because like this is mostly not used. This is purely just used for the cards, which is interesting. Could have almost shortened this a little bit and just had these cards go in sideways. You know what I mean? No idea. All right, off to the side. Let's look at Hadria's Servants. So this must be some sort, I don't know what this is. Obviously it's an expansion that may give a variant way of playing. But I don't remember this being advertised on the Kickstarter. If it did, I completely forgot about it. So Hadria's Servants. Ooh. The Ascended, and those are the Servants. Oh, so they're not even the same things. They're 2 separate, looks like expansions. This one is for 3 to 7 or 9, not 8 players. Interesting. This is for 3 to 9 players. Damn, you can play with that many people? I guess 1 for each god? That's fun. I didn't know that. I thought this was a 2-player game. What is this for? Is this for, this might be for Veiled Fate, honestly. That might be for Veiled Fate. But I don't know. Let's see, the role must be played with the Hadrian's expansion. So this role must be played with the Hadrian's expansion. Draw 2 unique demigod cards after all our players receive their demigod card. If your 2 demigods are identical to this one, okay, yeah. So this is going to be for role must be played with the Servants expansion. Do not draw demigod. So that must be for Veiled Fate. These 2 here. So I'm going to keep that in the plastic for when we get Veiled Fate. But that's cool. So it gives you some different ways to play. I don't know how this comes into play for Veiled Fate and how that works. I can't really deduce or go over what that would potentially be, but this is really cool. Hadrian's Boon. Got some boon cards here. Steal, Switch, Smite. Oh man. Veiled Fate. Might be on my list next. Christmas is coming. Let's see what that price tag is. I know they just did a rehash, I think, for it. Might be a late pledge coming. We'll see. Ivy, stop taking my money. You and Awakened Realms. You're killing me. Okay. Let's put that over there. So we don't really need to go into this here. So this is just more of these. That's all. So I'm going to keep this sealed in case if we end up needing it, then I'll unseal it. But for now, I'm going to keep that sealed as is. But let's open up these metal goodies. See how that looks. It's got a nice heft to it. Oof. All right. I think the first time they did metal upgrades was for Veiled Fate. And I think all the gods, just like this, you can get upgraded. And then they did it for some moon rollers. They did it for, you could get like little metal dice and stuff. This is cool. Is this plastic? What is this? Nope, it's just very nicely, very tell on very well. Come on. There it is. Ooh, the felt. I love it. Luthier, I think, was the first game that we had where it had this nice like felt on the inside, which is awesome. So they keep these really nice. So that big wooden scale token, these things have heft. These are like legit full metal. Even the little pawns you place out, also very cool. Definitely gonna end up just using these in the game for sure. I'm probably gonna, yeah. Only gonna use these. These are so cool. Jesus. Those are awesome. Cool. Snap crack right back on there. Let's put her back in the box. And let's look at the board. Last but certainly not least, we have the board. Gold trim lined board. All right. So the scales on the back side and on the front side. Very, very cool. Very small board, which is nice. Could definitely play this on a coffee table. Fits perfectly in view for us when we play, so we can be close the entire time. Has all these notches in here, so let's grab some of these. So like these fit nicely in there. Sweet. And I do believe that between those, these guys fit. Look at that. That is awesome. Then, do these guys go to the outside? Can you play on the outside? I don't know. Will two of these fit in the middle? Nope. So these must have to be played on the outside in some way. I don't know. That's cool. I'm very excited to figure out how to play this game. I don't know what this is for. It must be, I guess, if you have gods that have been smoted? Smoted? Smotied? This potentially where the age card goes? Maybe? This is definitely where 3 of these goes for some reason. Maybe as they get smited, they get brought down here. No idea. Great table presence, though. Very cool. Sweet. That out of there. Oop. You're an age 1 regular. Okay. Let's put it all back in the box. So, first up, and again, I am going to go through and sleeve these, but not right now. And also, all of these sleeved will not fit right there, because this is going to add at least that much, or close to it, to those cards. So I'll figure that out afterwards. Let's get Homeboy down the bottom here. Little baggies. All of our journals. Those down. Pencils down the side. All of our pieces fit in there. Board on top. Boom. Adrian. Cool. All right. Well, that Scales of Fate by Ivy Studios. Yeah, very excited. Figure out a way to get everything fit in there nice and neatly, other than just kind of throwing in like I just did. I'm sure that there will be a very easy way. Usually when the things are in bags, they don't fit as well. If I take them out of the bags and arrange them around, they'll probably fit a little bit better. Definitely love the metal replacements are awesome. Definitely going to hold on to the wooden ones too, because those are also sweet. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say, except I'm excited to dive into the rulebook rundown, and then to play this and go head-to-head with Board. It's always fun to play a deduction game that does not involve cards specifically. He's very good at card counting, and so it's very difficult to beat him at any game where he is able to count cards. He likes to think ahead, and so I definitely have the upper hand in games where I can purposely do something random, and my outcome's not going to be determined by specific cards or the number of cards left over in the end. For instance, Tactile that we played, the way that I was able to, really kind of get around any kind of plan that he was trying to do is I kept refreshing the market, so he could never formulate a plan. Because he would always plan, like, okay, I'm going to get this one to get that, to get this, to get that, to get that. And then I'll be able to do all these things. And you need those cards to combo. So I would literally use one of my actions to get a card from there, or do an action on the table, and then my other action would be used to wipe it clean. Wipe the entire market clean, just keep him on his toes. Those are games that I definitely do better at, where I have to play like on my toes and think on the fly. So we'll see how this plays out, if you can strategize or if you really have to think on the fly. It's going to be a lot of fun to try and throw him off my scent and doing stuff. It's going to be a great learning moment for us as well, because we actually are developing our own hidden trader game, actually 2 of them at the moment, a simplified one and a larger one, which you'll hear more about in 2026. So definitely stay tuned here for that, as you hear about our lessons as we go through learning how to produce our own game. But for now, we're going to keep playing these awesome games and doing these videos for you all. So I thank you for joining me here at Bald Board Games, as I gave you an unboxing of Scales of Fate by Ivy Studios. And my box is limited edition 4,220 of 10,000. Awesome. So thank you for joining me here. I'll see you, hopefully on the right scale. Oh.